think my favorite memory is actually using the library to teach students. I've held many courses here in the library, and students, for the most part, have just been amazed at what's here and at the environment of kind of exploring and learning, that they're just invited to learn more about what's in our collection and the books that are here. So I think that my favorite memory is actually a conglomeration of memories of teaching students in this setting, both in the Ireland room but also in here in the actual collection.
I think my very favorite memory is thinking back to the year 2000, 50th anniversary historical exhibit for the School of Nursing. That snowballed, of course, into being a historical lecture by Anita Smith and then her book signing. And I felt like this was my home away from home.
There are just many memories of the library. And of course, starting the Reynolds Historical Lecture was a big day, and I'm pleased to say that it now has almost been, we've had a lecture almost 30 years each year, and we've had outstanding speakers that have been willing to come to Reynolds Library. That I appreciate very much.
It's important to understand the past history of medicine to better understand medicine today and the future. Now, most medical students don't read about history, and they don't read about the past. And the past to them is maybe a month ago. But I think that as time passes, more and more faculty will find the historical collections not only pertinent to medicine, but important in understanding the broad scope of disease.
But we have a growing number of students who are really interested in the medical humanities. And using the history of medicine in our collection here is going to be, I think it's going to reach out to them and help them do really fascinating projects. And we've got all the resources here for doing that.
I would encourage pre-med students especially to get involved, read these and do some papers on them and things like that.
In my field, I'm interested in the manuscripts, and I think that when students take a look at manuscripts as opposed to books or incunabula, what they can learn about the art, the social history of the period is invaluable, because they can see the wormholes, they can see the patches that were included in the vellum from the animals that were trapped to make it. They can find evidence of water damage. They can see how difficult the text is to read, and they can tell the conjectures of the editors when they try to put those texts into print. Last year in my class, my students made their own medieval manuscripts. They used vellum and gold leaf and quills, and they modeled them on what they saw over here. So it was a wonderful resource.
And what was their reaction to
Loved
the resource?
it. Absolutely loved it. They felt like experts. And actually, because they had seen the manuscripts and touched them and smelled them and flipped the pages, they sounded like experts. They were very proud of themselves. I was proud of them.
The cost of buying books has gone up enormously in the last 17, 18, 20 years. And I know what we paid for some of the earlier books, and then I see what they're being sold for now, and I'm shocked at the prices. So I think that the investment will be very good financially, but much more important than the financial accumulation is that these books won't be available in another 50 years.
Well, I love books, and I love these books, and I gave a few of them, especially in the thyroid.
If we don't preserve the past, we won't be able to understand the future. And we need to have a central location, which we are so fortunate to have here, where the items are just very carefully and conscientiously preserved.
I think there's a real risk of losing some of that connection with history. And we've seen it in a lot of areas within medical research where people think that if it's not online, it doesn't exist at all. And it's critically important, I think, for the future of medical education, for the future of education in all fields, that people have a really strong and deep connection and commitment to the history of the professions that they're moving into. And this, I think, is one of the things that makes UAB Historical Collections so important, is the whole variety of outreach activities that we engage in, so that we have multiple ways of bringing people in from their very undergraduate years all the way through their graduate education up into their years as practicing faculty, practicing clinicians, and really make that connection so that their history becomes alive.
What do you think Dr. Reynolds would think about the library today and of the Historical Collections Unit?
I think he'd be delighted. I'd like to thank everybody who gave their time and their gifts. I think he would be delighted to know that it's here and housed so beautifully, and so many people are exposed to it and study from it. And I'd like to thank all of them for him.